Hey everybody, 4D Sparky here. I thought I'd do a little video tonight about a app that I found on Google Play last night, and that is called SunSurveyor. It's got this little stylized sun with a light and a dark area through it, and it's a little bit more intense or more detailed than the photographer's ephemeris, which I found only gives you where the sun is going to be at sunrise, sunset, and the moon, as well as moonrise and moonset. This takes it a tremendously bigger step. It has a built-in functional compass. You can see it moving a little bit because of the metal in my pen. It does do true north, and where I'm at right now, that is true north. And I can, it not only shows me where sunset, this orange line, and sunrise, this yellow line, but I can also use this slider to move through a 24-hour period to show where the sun and the moon are going to be in relationship to my position on this date and time right here and my location. There also is a little bit of ephemerical information down here about sunrise and sunset and where the sun is in the sky, both its altitude and its where it is, in relationship to north. This can kind of be handy if you're in a location and you say, I want to see where the sun is going to be when I want the sun is to be due south. Well, that was 12:36 p.m. today. Obviously, I've missed this. I can, if I want to. I want to change the date. What's it going to be like tomorrow? I can click on that. And where is it going to be due south tomorrow? There is a little dot here that is always opposite the sun, so you can get an idea of where directly down range of the sun is going to be. So you can turn this until it hits north and gives you an idea. 12:33 p.m. I'd have the sun directly at my back if I was taking a photograph due north. Now that's just the compass function. It does have a function called map view that is very similar to the photographer's ephemeris. This is basically the same thing, only north is always to the top on this view. It doesn't have the compass function where it turns everything so it's everything naturally north. I chose the Field Museum in Chicago just as an example here. So let's say I want to photograph it from this location right here, and I'm going to be there in a couple of days. And I want the sun to be, let's say, directly at my back. The first thing I want to do is I want to pin my location. So now my location is locked, and I can say I want to aim the camera this direction. So now this is telling me this is where I'm at and this is where the camera is centered on. I can move the sun throughout the day. So if I want the sun directly at my back, I can say that's going to occur around 2:50 in the afternoon. If I want a 45-degree angle, it's 11:11. If I want a 45-degree angle in the other direction, it's about 3:15. If I want a very oblique evening shot, 4:53. If I want to be there first thing in the morning as the sun comes up and get a very oblique shot of the sun in the morning, 8:44 a.m. There also is a function that kind of simulates the shadow. You can see a gray line here always opposite the sun to the center. You can see that as the sun is near the sunset or the sunrise, which is here, or sunset, which is this red line, when it gets closer you can see that that gray line gets extended. So it gives you kind of a visual representation of shadow length. The other thing it does is it doesn't throw the sun around the circle. It kind of simulates in 3 dimensions how it's going to come up through the sky. So it gives you a good idea of where the sun is going to be in relationship to where you want to be and where your subject is. And it's just like the photographer's ephemeris. You can not only choose a date and time, you can choose right now, or you can choose a location. You can use your current location, or use the phone's GPS, or ping off of a local towers to get your location. You can search. Let's say I want to search for, let's say, the Grand Canyon. Put that in there. I'll search for the Grand Canyon, and it takes me to the visitor center at the Grand Canyon. And it tells me by this that looks like the sun is set because it's just past there, but I can bring it back up by this slider and place it anywhere in the sky during the day. This is using Google Maps. You can, just like Google Maps, you can use the satellite, or you can just use the normal map mode. I find this a little bit easier to move around, but when I want to see the actual geological feature, I go to that. And just like Google Earth, you can use the hybrid or the terrain. I just generally stick with a satellite view because, after all, I'm after the image. With this, I can move around and say, okay, if I want to take a photograph from here, and let's say I'm going to be there the 16th, now I can sit there and say, I'm going to pin my location, I'm going to photograph to the north. Now I can move this around and see where the sun is going to be in the sky at various parts of the day. You can also save location, so I can open up a save location and it will take me there. Just like that. I can zoom in just like Google Maps. Let's say I want to photograph this waterfall from a point, let's say right here. When I move this, you'll see a crosshair come up to the center. I simply drop myself. That gives me my location. I can pin that target right there. Aim my camera at the waterfall and move the sun around in the sky until it's where I think I want it to be. And it tells me I need to be at that location at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to start setting up. It's got a lot of other functions here. And it has also the moon and the moon phase on here. So if you're wanting to shoot at night, when the sun's gone down, you can say, I can take a photograph at 11:15 with the moon at my back, if I wanted to do that. It has some other features, details, which is a very detailed set of ephemeris information, golden hour, solar noon, dusk, sunrise, sunset, moonrise, moonset, dawn, civil dawn, when the blue hour starts, and just all this information that automatically comes up for every day that you can punch in, and your location. Again, you can choose the location and the time and date by touching either one of these up here. So it's an interesting little application. I think it's a little bit better than, I think it's considerably better than the photographer's ephemeris, simply because it shows me not just sunrise and sunset, moonrise and moonset. It gives me a little bit better graphical representation of what the sun and the moon are doing in the sky at the different times of the day. And like the photographer's ephemeris, you can save locations. You can search also for GPS coordinates. You can punch those in if you want to. And so for $6.50 for Android users, I bought it in a heartbeat. There is a light version, but it doesn't have these functions. I would suggest spending the $6.50 to get the full version. It's a lot more useful. I don't know if they have a version for the Apple users, but for those of you with an Android, this I think would be a very good addition to your smart device. So this is 480 Sparky. Go forth and actuate.